Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you guys already know, today's video is going to be an updated how I edit. I believe the last one I did was almost a year ago or like maybe 8 months ago, and I did it at my cabin. It was the first video to teach you guys how I edit on Final Cut Pro, but let me tell you, my editing style has changed a lot since then, and I've gotten so many questions recently from you guys asking me how I edit, and these type of like how I edit videos take up a lot of time to get out for you guys. Like, I have to plan the whole video, film it, and then edit it, which takes way longer than like a normal video, at least for me. So I wasn't able to get this video out for you guys while I was still in school, but now that it is summer, I'm finally having it out for you guys. And if you're interested in any other like YouTube help videos, I do have a playlist for all of those. It'll be up here in the iCard. I did in fact make a script for myself with a bunch of like talking points and things I need to mention. So we have all this, it's backsided, and then this. So you already know this video is packed with information. If you guys want to know more like how to do certain things rather than like what I do in my videos, then I would suggest searching those type of videos on YouTube. They're super easy to find. That's how I learned how to edit. I do show you guys how to do some things, but not everything. So I got my script here and let's just get started. Oh, also the timestamps are along the little timeline of the video that you guys can scroll along to find what you want to know. They're also in the description down below. But the first thing I'm going to talk about today is equipment. And this is something that I feel like not everybody touches on, but it really is what gets you started to edit. So first off, you got to film your videos to be able to edit them. So the cameras that I use are the Canon EOS M50, which is what I'm filming on currently. And then for vlogs, I use my Canon G7X Mark II. Both of these cameras are great for YouTube, and I would suggest either one. To edit, the electronics that I use are my MacBook Pro. This is what I use to actually edit on. My phone I use sometimes to get a certain clip the way I want it, which is kind of hard to explain, but I do use my phone for some things. And then I do use my iPad sometimes for overlays or for thumbnails for my videos. The apps or softwares that I use to edit are Final Cut Pro. That is the editing software that I use. Fonto and Lightroom are mainly for thumbnails, but sometimes I'll use them for overlays. It depends. And then for music, I use a website called Thematic Music. It is so nice for YouTube and music, so I would totally suggest that. And also, this video is not sponsored by anything at all. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is just kind of like the overview of the steps that I take to edit my videos. So the first thing I do is obviously I film my video on one of my cameras or both of them, and I import the clips that I film on my camera onto my MacBook. To do this, I take the SD card that has all the clips out of the camera and into my SD card reader that I plug into my laptop, and then I drag those clips onto my desktop. And then I go into Final Cut Pro and I make a new library and then a new project and title those the name of the video that I'll be editing. And then I drag the clips that I filmed into that library and that project to start editing. And then the first step of actual editing is rough cutting, which there is a whole timestamp for, and I'll talk about more later. After I rough cut, then I add all of the fun stuff. So that includes text, transitions, overlays, effects, and all that kind of stuff. After that, I add in the music. And then after the music, I add in my normal add-ins, which I will also be talking about later. And then lastly, I watch through the whole entire video, export it, and then upload it to YouTube. And that's kind of the process of editing one video. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through the individual steps of editing and teach you guys how to do certain things, tell you guys what they mean, and show you like how I use it in my videos. So the first thing that I'll talk about is rough cutting. Rough cutting is basically where I cut down all of the clips that I filmed into the individual clips that I want for the video. So obviously I'll cut out the points where I mess up when I'm talking, or if there's like a big breath that I take that I don't want in there. Basically, I just cut out anything that I don't want in the video, and it definitely takes a lot of time. I feel like rough cutting is usually the part of editing that takes the most amount of time versus other things. And not gonna lie, sometimes I feel very unmotivated when I'm rough cutting because it's just like so boring. But you know what? It's okay, because after that, then I add the fun stuff. So one of the fun elements that I like to add is text, and I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys asking like how I add text, text, how I add like the moving text across the screen, and also like what fonts I use. So I'm gonna cover all of that in this little text section of the video. So first off, adding text can make your video way more interesting to watch, and it's definitely, I think, an important element to add. And for any of you who are wondering the fonts that I use, I will put them all on the screen right now. I didn't put any in the script that I made, but the fonts that I have on the top of my head are Helvetica New Bold Italic, and then I can like picture the text in my head, but I don't remember the names, but they're all on the screen. And there are many ways to customize your text. You can change the size, the color, the font, how it moves on the screen, and so much more. So different ways that I like to customize text is by changing the color or the font. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but recently I've been using like more fonts and more colors on my text just to make it like more fun. To change the font or color of a text is super easy. You just go to all the controls for the text and you'll find the font drop down bar where you can choose from a ton of different choices. And then if you scroll down a little bit and go to the little like face spot, you can click on that and find the little color picker and pick whatever color you like. There's also different ways to change the look of your text, like adding an outline, a drop shadow, and all that kind of stuff. Once again, if you want to know how to do like all of these type things, definitely search that on YouTube because there's plenty of videos that can help you out with that. Another way I like to make my text a little bit more fun is to have it move across the screen. So like instead of a text just popping up right here, I could have it come in from this side of the screen, stop for a little bit, and then go up. To do this, you need to know how to like track things, kind of, which I will explain a little bit later how to track. But if you just search on YouTube like tracking text or something like that, you should be able to find a video that'll help you. Another thing I like to do for text is add a sound effect when it comes on the screen, especially if it just like pops up. So the sound effect that I like to use most for text is bottle cork. So if I just want text to appear, I'll just put the bottle cork sound right when it pops up. Kind of like that, super simple. And another way that I like to have the text appear on the screen is with the glitch effect, at least that's what I call it. So it looks like this and it looks super cool and it helps it kind of fade in and out easily. And this is actually really simple to do. All you have to do is cut off a little bit of the beginning and the end of the little text. If that makes sense, you guys are seeing it on the screen. And find the bad TV effect in the effects section and drag it to the little snippets of the text you have. And that's basically it. Once again, there are so many ways to change up your text, and there are a ton of tutorials on YouTube to help you guys out with that. Next up, I'll be talking about transitions. So personally, I like to use transitions when I'm switching between two different places or two different times. So for example, if I'm vlogging and I start out at my house and then the next clip is like at the store or something, I don't want to just have it chop like right in the middle and have it go from my house to the store immediately. I'd want some kind of transition to help it flow. So some transitions that I like to use are the slide transition, which looks like this, a glitch transition, which looks like this, or this transition. So I'll teach you guys how to do all three of these transitions because they're super simple and they look really good. And if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my little script here. But to do the slide transition, you go to the transitions tab and you search up for the one that's just labeled slide. You drag that and add it between the two clips that you want the transition to flow through, and then shorten it if you want it to be faster. And obviously if you want it slower, you can leave it. You can just play around with it. And then you can keep it as that, or you can add a little sound effect, which is what I usually do. And there's two different sound effects that I'll use for those kind of transitions, and it really just depends on the video. So all you gotta do is go to the sound effects section and then search up swish, and then there will be two options. One is swish 1 and then another one is swish 2. I use both of them, but you just choose whichever one you like best and drag it under the transition and it'll look something like this. To do the glitch transition, you cut a tiny bit off of both clips where they would kind of like connect or where they would like glitch to each other, and then go to the effects tab and find the one labeled bad TV. That is also the same one that I used for the text as well. And then drag that to both of the little tiny cutouts that you cut from each of the clips. And you can leave it like that, just like the last one, or you can add a sound effect. I usually add the computer mouse sound effect underneath it because I just feel like it looks better. To find that, you just go to the sound effects tab and search computer mouse, and then it'll end up looking something like this. And then lastly, to do like the beep transition, this one's probably the easiest of them all. But for this one, all you gotta do is go to YouTube and search beep glitch screen, and you'll find a bunch of options there. And then when you find one you like, you can screen record it or save it to your camera roll and just insert that clip to your YouTube video. I usually shorten it a little bit and then turn down the volume because it can be a little loud, but it'll end up looking something like this. But yeah, so those are the main transitions that I like to use in my videos, and they definitely help make your videos more interesting to watch. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about overlays and effects. If you guys don't know what an overlay is, it's basically anything that you insert on top of your video. So that could be a picture, a video, or some kind of like brand logo or something like that. Basically anything that goes on top of your main clip. And I personally don't classify text as an overlay. I just think of text as its own thing. To add an overlay, it's super simple. All you gotta do is drag whatever you want as your overlay on top of the clip on the timeline and adjust the size and how long it's there for, and that's pretty much it. When I add overlays, I'll either add a sound effect when it pops up, or I'll do tracking to make it like move onto the screen, which once again is its own little category, so I'll talk about that later. And then effects are fun things to add to your clips that just make your video more fun to watch. And you can add effects to your clips, your text, and your audio. Some effects that I like to use are bad TV, keyer, which is just for green screens, underwater, and muffled. Muffled is for audio, so obviously it makes your voice sound muffled. To add an effect to your audio, your clips, or your text, simply find the effect you want in the effects tab and then just drag it onto whatever you want it to be on. Okay, so I'm going to talk about cropping now. Some ways to crop are like this, which I like to call a simple crop. Another way is to do this, which is called Ken Burns, or you can do what I like to call half Ken Burns, which basically use the transform button to like zoom in and then hold on that clip. And now I'm going to tell you guys how to do each of those types of crop. So to do the simple crop, all you got to do is go to your clip and click the crop from the drop down choices, and then make sure to select crop from the little bar below it, and then adjust the size to however you want it to look, like how cropped you actually want it, and then click done, and that's basically it. I am saying crop so much in this section. I'm so sorry, but it's how it is. So to do Ken Burns, you click the crop button from the drop down choices again, but make sure to select Ken Burns from the little bar instead of crop, and then adjust the sides to however you want it to zoom in. Click done, and there you go. And then lastly, to do the half Ken Burns, which is what I call it, select the transform button from the drop down choices instead of crop, and then make sure your cursor is selected on where you want it to like start zooming in. And then you're gonna want to make a keyframe, and to do that, you click the little diamond icon in the top left corner, and then click the right arrow on your keyboard until you're at the point in the clip where you want the zooming in to stop, and then you want it to start to hold. And then once you're at that point, move the little like rectangle box, like zoom it in or do whatever to the box to adjust it to what you want it to look like and what you want it to hold at. Then all you gotta do is click done and watch it to make sure it looks good. This is a little bit confusing, and I don't know how well I explained it for you guys, but I did learn this from other YouTube videos that I just searched up. So if you want to know how to do that, definitely search up other videos. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about tracking, which I use to make the text move along the screen or a picture move along the screen. And this is also something that I may not be too good at explaining for you guys, but once again, there are different YouTube videos to teach you guys how to do that. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your little cursor at the beginning of the text clip or whatever you're tracking, and then from the drop down bar, make sure you click transform. And then what you're going to want to do is position the text off of the screen or wherever you want it to start. So obviously if you want the text to come into the screen somewhere, position the text off in the beginning, and then you're going to make a keyframe, which is basically where you select the diamond icon in the top left, and then hold down the right arrow on your keyboard until you get to the point where you want the text to stop moving or to like hold. And once you get to that point in the clip, then you're going to drag your text back onto the screen and position it where you want it. Once you have it positioned, then you're just going to hold down the right arrow again until you get to the point to where you want it to start moving again. So once you get there, then you're going to make another keyframe and click the diamond in the top left, and then you're going to hold down the right arrow until the end of the clip. Once you get to the end of the clip, then you're going to move the text off of the screen or wherever you want it to be. So if you want the text to come into the screen and then leave the screen, obviously in the beginning and the end, you're going to drag the text off the screen so that it's not showing. So once you have that, you're going to click done and then watch it through to make sure it looks good. This definitely took a lot of practice for me, and I'm not sure how well I explained it for you guys, so once again, if I didn't do a very good job, there are plenty of other YouTube videos out there that will help you. Now I'm going to talk about music. So once I finished adding all of the fun stuff, then I add the music, and for most of my music I use a website called Thematic, and they are basically a website that has a ton of music for you guys to choose from that you can use in your videos copyright free, so you don't have to worry about getting copyrighted for it, as long as you include the link for each of the songs in your description description, which is super easy to do. And then only for a little bit of my music, I use the copyright-free music that comes with Final Cut Pro, like just in the music library, and what is in the YouTube audio library. So there are many places that you can get music. And by the way, if you guys ever want to know what songs I use in my videos, they're always in the description of every single video. I always have a little section in my description that says music, and it has all the music that I use. And then the last little topic I have for this video is my normal add-ins. So if you guys have been on my channel for a while now, then you would know that I've had many different add-ins in my videos. The ones that I currently use are my button click, my social media pop-up, which pops up on one of these sides of the screen, and then my outro, which I'll put a small clip of it now. And I actually made all of these myself in Final Cut Pro. They're super simple to make, and I would suggest making a set of them for your channel that you use in every video, because it just kind of makes your videos like all come together for your channel. If you guys are interested in making your own and you want to know how, there are plenty of tutorials on how to do all of these things on YouTube. But at this point I insert all my little add-ins, and my social media one is actually a green screen. So what I do is I drag it over the clip, and then I go into the effects and find Keyer, which I talked about earlier. I drag Keyer onto it and automatically takes out the green screen part, and then you guys just see the social medias, which I think is super cool. But yeah, that is all I have for today's video. I know I covered a lot, so if you want to go back, remember there are all the timestamps. And if you have any more questions, comment them down below. I'll try to answer them, but it's kind of hard to answer these type of questions in the comments. If you guys enjoyed today's video, or if you thought it was helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell down below to be notified whenever I post. I post every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. PST. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!